Hello guys, welcome to another exciting day. Welcome to my channel YJ Digital World. Sorry guys, if you noticed on my channel for the past few days I hadn't uploaded video due to some reasons. I'm facing some challenges over here, so that's why I couldn't upload. I couldn't create content to upload for you guys. Please, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for that. Please, I hope my apologies are all accepted. So on today's video tutorial, I'll be putting you through on how to create a church flyer event, an event flyer for a church event. Okay, so in doing this, I'll be using Photoshop as well, Photoshop 2020. That's what I'm using. I remain your regular host, Agu Joseph. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so please, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. And you can also follow me on my socials at YJ Digital World. Thank you guys. So let's get into it. First of all, we have to create a workspace on which this project will be carried out on. So I'll click on create on my menu here. So after clicking on create, the new document Canva panels comes up. So we'll be calling this, the theme of the event is called the Kingdom Heritage. Okay, so unit of measurement is in inches, 4 inches of width and 4 inches of height. Then the resolution is in 300. Color mode remains on RGB. I always leave my design tutorials on RGB because I'm not printing them. If I'm to print them, I'll set them on CMYK color format. You get, but based on, it will be based on devices, mobile devices and other devices, so I'll just leave them on RGB. So I'll click on create. So this is the Canva workspace I'll be using to achieve this project. Okay, so first of all, I have to start placing the elements I'll be using for this project. Okay, so let me go to my resource here. Okay, and let me drag in this image. Okay, this is an image of a church. So Ctrl T to transform, Ctrl minus to zoom out, Ctrl minus to zoom out. So I'll scale this up to something of about this size. I think this is okay. After that, I'll check. So the next thing I'll be doing here is to bring in other images I'll be using, such as this. So I'll drag it into my Canva workspace as well. Okay, I'll hold Alt on my keyboard to scale out from the middle. If you are using 2020, you hold Alt on your keyboard to scale out from the middle. I think this is okay this way. I think it's okay this way. So I'll check. I'll drag this layer beneath the church layer. Okay, so after doing that, I'll turn off the church layer, pick my quick selection tool here. Okay, I'll pick the quick selection tool, turn off my caps lock. Okay, if I turn it on, my mouse pointer changes to this. If I turn it off, it changes to this. So I'll scale up the size of my quick selection tool. So I've selected this portion. All I have to do is to click on select and max. After clicking on select and max, I'll come over here. I think I've set everything on my default here. 50% transparency, radius 2, smooth, and the rest of them. So after that, make sure this is selected on a new layer max. So I'll click on this, hit Ctrl I to invert. So after inverting, I'll come here and delete this. Okay, right click and convert this image to a smart object. The main reason why I'm converting my layers to smart object is in case if I need to make an adjustment, I can go back to the same layer and make adjustment easily, unlike bringing in the image from scratch and start working on it. Okay, so and one of the benefits of leaving your image on as a smart object is it enables your image to maintain quality. It doesn't allow your image to lose quality. So now let me work on this. So I'll come to my adjustment panel here, click on curves, I'll click max the curve on the background. Okay, so I'll add a little bit of highlight and shadows to this, and say okay, I don't need the highlight, I'll step it down a little. Okay, this for this. So after doing that, I'll minimize this, come here, select color balance, add more of a green to this. You can see how it's looking now. Okay, you can choose to add a little bit of yellow, but I don't need that of the yellow. Okay, so and come over here as well, select selective colors and choose to see add more of the green to this. Okay, I've explained from my previous videos that the selective color panel is made up of the two color scheme, the CMYK color scheme, while at the other side you have the RGB color scheme. Okay, at the left you have the CMYK, at the right you have the RGB color scheme. So if you need to add green, the opposite of magenta is green. So instead of increasing more of magenta, you add more of, you reduce the magenta. That is the way you can achieve your green with the use of these sliders when working on the color schemes. Okay, you can say this is okay for me. Come back to my adjustment panel and play around and say this is okay. I think this is okay for me. So Control plus, I'm zooming in. Okay, so after that I'll turn on the church icon. After turning on the church icon, I'll come over here where I have the church layer. Okay, now if you notice, this part of my project is having red roof while this side is having blue. So I'll need to make the color work with this. I need to change this blue to my red as well. So you come to your adjustment panel here, click on hue and saturation, click on this, then your mouse pointer changes to a color picker. So all I have to do is to select the color around this region here. After selecting it, I'll just slide over my hues to I see a suitable color. I think this red is good enough. If I want, I can still increase the saturation of the red on the building. You understand? So I can do this way. I can still reduce the red to other color, can increase the saturation of the red. So that is one of the ways we do use to change color of objects in Photoshop. So the next phase of this project is where I'll be placing other elements such as my text. So I say, for you to achieve success in your design, your text and other elements in your project needs to be properly aligned. So one of the ways I do this is I normally set my guide. So I come to guide my view here on my menu, come over to new guide layout. Okay, and normally these are the parameters I use to set my guides. Okay, but in some cases I usually go further by still making little adjustments to my guide. Okay, and come somewhere here and create a guide of this nature. Okay, so it's just for me to maintain a perfect structure. Okay, so the first thing I'll be placing, I think, let me see, is my socials. So let me pick in the socials I'll be using for this. I'll drag it into the workspace. Check. So I'll select them all together, Control T, hold Alt and scale to the middle. I think this is good enough, so I'll just come here and drag them around somewhere here, for example. So I'll group them together, or I'll group it, Ctrl G. After selecting, click the first layer, click the last layer, holding Shift, okay, then Ctrl G to group and call these socials. Okay, same here, I can click on this hue and click on the church layer and group it and call it church. Okay, so this as well, I can come over here, select this layer and group them and call this background BG. Okay, so by grouping your layers, it enables you to actually understand where each and every one of your layers or elements are actually being placed. So let me zoom in here. Okay, and come here and move this here, move this here, move this here. Okay, so I come this way, I place the YouTube icon here, come over here, place the Facebook icon beside it, likewise this. Okay, so I'll come over here, select them and still scale them to similar side as my YouTube. I'll check, so I'll come to position them equally. I need to maintain equal spacing between elements. Okay, you can say this is good enough. So after that, come to my notepad here, copy the tag address. Okay, this is the tag they will be using. Pick my text tool. Okay, I'll left click and paste it in here. If you notice, the text is not visible, so I'll come to my character panel here. So in case you don't have your character panel here where I have mine on my screen, you can come to Windows here and activate character. So I'll come here, I'll change the color to, I think, to black for now, precisely to black for now. Then pick my move tool. Okay, I pick my move tool, so I'll just minimize my character panel and place this side by side as this. After doing this, all I have to do is to bring in the next set of things, which is my icons. I'll drag them. So after dragging in my icons, I'll come over here, select the two of them and rasterize them. After rasterizing, all I have to do is to pick my eraser tool here, this magic eraser tool, select the first layer and remove the background. I'll just left click, turn off this, select the next layer and I'll just click this way to remove the background. Okay, so after doing that, I'll come over here this way and select this way and hit Ctrl J. Okay, after hitting Ctrl J, right click to convert the new layer to a smart object and delete the previous old layers. The same here as well. Okay, after doing that, I'll just right click and convert this to also a smart object as well. So pick my move tool and place this where it needs to be placed. I think this is good enough this way. I'll come over here as well, Ctrl T. Okay, so after doing that, we'll be placing in our text. So I'll come here to copy the theme. After copying the theme, come back to Photoshop, pick your text tool, left click and paste it in here. After pasting it in here, I'll come over to my character panel as well and select this. It's called the Baskerville wood face. That is the name of the type we are using. So I'll just come over here, increase, Ctrl T, transform. Okay, come over here and place them here. I'll reduce the leadings, that is the spacing between text on the vertical axis. I'll reduce it to something of this. So after doing that, Ctrl T and I'll scale this up a little. Okay, so after doing that, come back here as well, select this other set of texts. I'll copy it, come back to my Photoshop, pick my text tool. I'll be using the Montserrat for this set of text. I'll check, come back to my character panel here, change this to Montserrat, and I will be selecting, I think semi bold is good enough. So let me use the size of about 6.5, font size of about 6.5. I think this is more visible, so I'll come over here, position this here, pick my text tool and break this along here. Okay, I can increase the leadings a little bit. Okay, after doing that, let me reduce this text to something of this, then select the scriptural verse, and I'll just bolden it for emphasis. Okay, that is, I am increasing the size to create hierarchy among text. Okay, so I think this is good enough. So the next set of things I'll be doing is to bring in the other set of information, such as this. I'll copy this, come over here and left click and paste it here. Okay, I'll be using the Montserrat still, so I'll call this bold, change the color to white. Okay, Ctrl T, scale it up to something of this size. After that, come back here, copy this, the time of the event, pick my text tool, left click and paste it in here. Okay, change the family type to something more visible, reduce the leadings and change this to bold. Ctrl T, increase the size of the time. Okay, so after doing that, pick my move tool, adjust the position of this, adjust the position of this, pick my rectangle here. After picking my rectangle, I'll just make a rectangle of something of this nature. Okay, so after doing that, let me see, I'll come over here, pick this color, and this is the hex code for the color. And see, here is the hex code. Okay, so I'll come over here and position it at the middle of this. Okay, so I'll pick my text tool and click here and type live on caps, all caps. Okay, so I'll hold Ctrl on my keyboard. If you notice on my layer panel here, I hold Ctrl, my mouse pointer changes to this, so I'll just make a quick selection of the rectangle. Okay, pick my move to align horizontally and vertically the text into the rectangle. So I'll come here, hit Ctrl T, I'll scale up the size. I think this is good enough. So after doing that, I'll come over here, right click and select, let me see, what do I have, the Facebook. Okay, I make a duplicate, Ctrl J to make the duplicate of a layer. So I'll come back here, drag this here. Okay, so I noticed I skipped something earlier, so I forgot to group these two set of layers together, which are the logos. So I'll call this logo. Okay, so I'll come back here and pick this other set of informations, take them above the whole layers. So the new Facebook icon, I'll just come over here, scale it up and drag it to somewhere around here. After doing that, I'll double click on the layer style panel comes up, come here, and change the color to a lighter shade. I think this is okay. So Ctrl plus to zoom in. Okay, come over here, pick my rectangle tool and create a rectangle of this nature. I just need to create a white field here. Okay, and drag this beneath. Okay, you can see the effects on the project. So I'll come here and select the two layers together and group them as one and merge them as one. Okay, and see now they are now standing on their own. All right, click and call this smart. I'll convert this to a smart object. Ctrl T. I'll increase the size a little. Okay, so this should be at the middle of this project. Sorry, should be around this middle. I think this is okay. So after that, come back here and copy this. Okay, pick my text tool and paste this set of text here. I'll check. Ctrl Z, Ctrl plus. Okay, so to zoom in, so I'll adjust the position of this set of information and come over here, the same here, adjust this set of information, their positions as well as the live stream text. So and choose to select these two set of text and align properly. Okay, pick the stream text. I can choose to increase the size and break it down somewhere around here. Okay, and notice this project is actually achieving success to a greater height. So I can come back here and notice I'm not too comfortable with my background. Ctrl T and let me see, scale up. Okay, let me make it something of this. Okay, then let me make a little adjustment to the background here on the curves. Okay, I think this is good enough. Ctrl H. So after doing this whole process, let me change the color of my theme of the event. Let me even increase the size a little. It needs to be more pronounced, more visible. Okay, so let me reduce the leading a little. Okay, so I think this is good. So let me change the color to, let me see, let me sample a color around here. Can choose to leave it this, but no, let me pick a color that complements the red of the church, which is green. Okay, I believe this complements this. So all I have to do is to copy the hex code, come to where I have my socials, I double click on the group, my layer style comes up, come here and change this to this. I think this is good enough. So after doing that, I'll come over here where I have my informations. I'll select them and group them together. After grouping them, and then call this info. Okay, so next I'll create a new layer and I will be setting my color with this hex code. So click on OK, pick my brush, okay, set the opacity and flow to 100. Right click and make sure you are already on the soft round brush. Okay, so off your caps lock so that you actually see the actual size of your brush on your screen. Okay, use the open and close bracket key beside your P button on your keyboard to scale up and scale down the size of your brush. So I'll just come over here, left click once, change the blending mode to screen, Ctrl T, and I'll increase this. This is like a light ray coming from that direction, from this direction, this way. Okay, so I'll place it somewhere around here this way. Let me still increase the size. I think this is good enough this way, so I'll reduce the opacity to about 50% opacity. I think it's good this way. It's good this way. Okay, it's good this way. So after doing that, after adding this light ray here, I notice the light ray is affecting some part of this project, so I need to take out some of the light from some part of this work. So all I have to do is to add mask, pick my brush, make sure my foreground color is set on black. Okay, scale down the size of my brush and brush out this way. I don't need it to be on the logo here. Okay, then on this other region, I notice the light is intense at this region, so I need this information to be more visible. So I'll just come over here, reduce the flow. So for this information to be visible, I need more contrast, so I need to take out some amount of the light flare on this part of the project. Okay, so guys, I think we are done with this. Let me see whether there's something else I can do to this project. Let me try and tweak a little. No, I prefer I take down this. I think this is good enough. This is actually good enough. Okay, so let me see whether we can take another step forward. Let me see the color lookups so that we'll see which one looks more better. So you just play around the color lookup and see the one that works more better for you. Then you make use of the one that was more effective for you for your project. So you just play around. Okay, so I can go with this, I can go with another color, but on this project I don't actually need it. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. Please, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a like. And if you are new to my channel, please, and you're enjoying my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. And you can also follow me up on my socials at YJ Digital World. Thank you guys for watching.